Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, I think I'm feeling a little better, right? A lot of you had said in my last couple videos that I sounded a little sick and whatnot. I think I'm better now, I think I'm good now, so. Today though, we have a pretty hot topic. This one kind of unfolded a little bit after I woke up today, you know, around noon, sometime like that, because I am a low life and I don't wake up in the morning, and I got on Twitter and everything after my morning routine, and I saw that a pretty major influential figure here on the internet has been banned from YouTube, which I believe follows bans on other social media platforms as well. And this is coming from the person by the name of Sneako. I don't know if you guys know who he is. The best way I can kind of describe Sneako is like maybe like a diet Andrew Tate, you know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily go as far with some of the things that he says that Andrew Tate would go, but he kind of shares a lot of like the same opinions. You know, I think they've even like collaborated or talked a few times. You can tell that Sneako's like a pretty big fan of Andrew Tate, right? You know, he's kind of inspired by him at least. A lot of people kind of compare the two pretty often, you know. Sneako, I would say, is like the lesser version of Andrew Tate. Like Andrew Tate is like the big one, the main famous one, and Sneako is, I mean, still pretty famous, still gets a lot of attention, but he's a little bit lower down than Andrew Tate on the whole, like, I guess, totem pole. But today, Sneako's channels on YouTube were officially terminated, and a lot of people have been making a pretty big deal about that, right? A lot of people have been talking about it on Twitter. You know, there's a lot of opinions being shared on this entire thing because Sneako, even though he was controversial, did have a lot of fans. But Sneako shared this screenshot from YouTube to his email, and it says, "Hi Sneako, we have reviewed your content and found severe or repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. We know this is probably very upsetting news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. If we think a channel severely violates our policies, we take it down to protect other users on the platform. But if you believe we've made the wrong call, you can appeal this decision. You'll find more information about the policy in question and how to submit an appeal below." Now, of course, there's a lot of mixed opinions on whether or not this was an appropriate move by YouTube to remove Sneako from their platform. There's pretty much two, like, main arguments that I'm seeing used, and they're both kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum. On one hand, you have, I would say, primarily Sneako defenders and, like, fans of his content and whatnot that are saying that he's being canceled, that are saying, you know, he's basically being shut down and silenced, and he's having his free speech suppressed by these platforms that are permanently banning and suspending his outlets and whatnot on them. YouTube now probably being the largest one, especially since he made a lot of video content and whatnot. And then on the other hand of everything, you have people who are actually pretty happy that Sneako ended up getting banned. A lot of these people think that the things that he said in his content and the ideas that he shared with his audience were really harmful. He thought that, you know, they thought that he was just basically saying things that shouldn't be said, that he was, you know, espousing some pretty horrible things. Now, of course, this email that's been shown here by Sneako doesn't go into detail, in the screenshot at least, about what policy was violated in specific that led to him being removed from YouTube here, but I think that's actually a pretty important piece of the puzzle, and I kind of wish that Sneako would have released what YouTube said was like the policy that he violated or whatever, because, look, I don't watch Sneako, I didn't watch Andrew Tate, you know, it's just not my type of content, you know, these self-help people and whatnot that are supposed to help you become a better man or whatever, right? You know, not really my cup of tea. I'm more into, like, you know, watching video game streams and stuff if I'm gonna watch a gaming, or I mean a live stream in general. They just don't really make content that caters to me personally, so like I've never really watched Sneako all too much. I've seen clips of him on like TikTok and like videos of him on Twitter and stuff like that, so I have seen some of the things that he's said and done, but I'm one of those people, man, that when it comes down to it, when it comes down to situations like this, I'm really about these outlets like YouTube explicitly describing what you did wrong. If you're gonna remove like someone's entire channel, you're gonna kick them off your platform, you need to, without a shadow of a doubt, prove that they did something wrong. If it's like a violation of the community guidelines or whatever, we need an exact example of how this violated the community guidelines. We need the rule written out in paper and like quoted and cited which one was violated. I'm one of those kinds of people. Like, I really need to see what YouTube is using to justify doing something like this, because regardless if this this is Sneako or not, right, like, they need to be explaining why they're doing things like this, because it definitely is a scary thought, a scary idea, that someone can lose their entire platform with basically no explanation from these platforms, you know what I mean? Like, that's a scary thought. That's something that we definitely should not be seeing. Now, I don't know if this was just the way that Sneako cropped everything on the screenshot or what the whole deal is with that, but I would really like to see exactly what he did that violated the guidelines and led to his channel being terminated, because frankly, I just find stuff like that important. If you're gonna take somebody down, we should know why. You know what I mean? We should know why this person... My bad, I got a phone call in the middle of recording, but... So I looked into some of the reasons why at least people think that he got banned, right? Some of the reasons why he was allegedly, you know, like, so controversial in the first place, right? Because like I said, I don't watch this guy's content, I don't know that much about him. So I did a little looking around to see what he did in specific that could have led to something like this, and I was presented with a couple of different options as to why this could have been. Number one, he has said some stuff that people kind of take as misogynistic. It's kind of the same thing with Andrew Tate, right? You know, they have opinions on relationships with women and like some things that they think between like men and women's relationships that I guess aren't quote unquote societally accepted, if that makes sense. You know, it's not I would say the popular opinion. They have some thoughts on like how men should behave and how women should behave and things like that, you know, a lot of people just simply kind of find offensive or just find ridiculous. Another reason that I potentially found that he could have ended up getting basically terminated off of YouTube, apparently he has espoused some anti-Semitic ideas on his show. Apparently he said something one time along the lines of like Jewish people run the world and stuff like that, and I think he's had like a couple people on stream that are considered like white supremacists, like I think someone by the name of Nick Fuentes or something like that. I don't know, but he's had apparently some people on his show that are extremely controversial and have said some extremely controversial things, and apparently that's being, I guess, espoused as like promoting hate speech. A lot of people consider it like him spreading horrible ideas and whatnot for having these people on his show, and apparently some of the things that he said. And this is the one that I kind of heard about when it happened, and I kind of knew about, but apparently he's also been accused of spreading false rape allegations about a creator by the name of Brandon Buckingham. Basically, he repeatedly on stream and in his content said that this Brandon Buckingham guy said on his Instagram story that he was going to R-word Sneako's girlfriend. Brandon Buckingham has put out some videos and whatnot, kind of like, I guess, going back against that and fighting back against that narrative and everything, but those are just a couple of the reasons that I found as to why this could have happened in the first place. It's kind of a crapshoot on what it really was that, like, kind of, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back, but just a few ways, I guess, that it could have unfolded according to what I could find online. But I've been looking at the public reaction to this entire thing, right? Because I think the way that people react to these kinds of situations really indicates a lot about the entire online community, right? And there's surprisingly a lot more people defending Sneako than I expected, because in situations like this, when a creator is ostracized because of the things that they've said and done like this, a lot of the times, like, people online try to distance themselves from that, right? Like, they don't want to speak out in support of the guy who got deplatformed because he said a lot of stuff that's really controversial, and they don't want like the Twitter hate mob to jump on their back. But a lot more people have actually been speaking out in support of Sneako than I actually expected. I mean, I know he wasn't just some small creator with no fans or anything, but like I said, you know how the court of public opinion works, right? Like, if you're one of the people who defends the guy that everybody's against, you know, like you're kind of just asking for people to dunk on you too. So to see a lot of people kind of disregard that and actually support Sneako through this definitely took me by surprise a little bit, especially because I'm kind of like fresh to this situation. But now the question is, just like it was with Andrew Tate, like, how is Sneako gonna recover from this? Because when you look at the Andrew Tate situation, you see how quickly he was basically deplatformed from all these different places. Honestly, have you heard about Andrew Tate since then? I don't know. Like, I've stopped seeing his content, you know what I mean? After he got deplatformed in the way that he did, I really don't see a lot of Andrew Tate TikToks anymore, and I don't see him going viral all over the place like he was before, you know, like basically taking over the internet kind of virality before, that's basically stopped now, you know what I mean? Not to say that he isn't still popular or like a huge figure, but like compared to what he was a few months ago, like Andrew Tate seems to just be gone. And I wonder if the same thing basically will happen to Sneako here, because like he's being booted off all these platforms where he makes his content, right? Where is he gonna go now? Like the only options really for Sneako, it seems like, is either A, try to appeal with YouTube and most likely be shot down and turned away, because let's be real, the appeal systems on YouTube, especially if you're someone like Sneako who's controversial, they don't work right, man. They just don't. Or number two, he's gonna have to move to like a way smaller platform that has way more like restrictions in his favor, right? Like they don't ban certain things. They maybe allow you to push the envelope a little bit more with the things that you say. So he's gonna probably have to find smaller platforms to really kind of try and run his brand off of. And I mean, just looking at history of people who've had to do that, it doesn't really work out the best for them. I mean, you go to a website where you can only get like 200 or 300 people to come watch you, right? Like it just, your opportunity to continue this online career that you've had in the way that you did before is honestly just pretty much gone, man. Like you just can't pull that audience anymore. But the one thing I will say, regardless of like whether or not you feel that he deserved to be kicked off of like YouTube and other platforms, or if you thought that what he did didn't warrant him being kicked off the platform, I think there's one thing that we can all kind of come to agree on here, and that's that, you know, the way that people can just be kind of removed from the public eye on the internet, the way that, you know, you can just have your accounts taken down tomorrow with pretty much no explanation, even if these companies don't want to. It's kind of fucking scary, man. Like, it's kind of insane. I mean, yeah, sure, it might be Sneako and Andrew Tate who are getting banned today, but who gets banned tomorrow? You know, when the internet turns and they've stopped focusing on these guys and they're not mad at these guys anymore, right? And they have to find the new person to be mad at and the new person for them to go after, right? Who's that gonna be? And what can they do to protect themselves, you know what I mean, in their career, right? People like to say, oh, well, Sneako and Andrew Tate, these guys deserved being deplatformed. They deserved it. They had it coming. And honestly, you can feel that way if you want to. I'm not here to tell you that you should be for or against these kinds of bans. I'm just speaking from like a neutral perspective here, because I mean, truth be told, I wasn't a big fan of Sneako in the first place. Like I said, I didn't watch his stuff or anything, but if people think that after, you know, the one or two guys that they really don't like disappears, this whole deplatforming thing's gonna go away, if that's really what you think, that's a very naive way of looking at it. I mean, let's be real, this is kind of like the new normal on the internet, right? If you're the person that stands out and says things that people don't like, and you have the unpopular opinion, people are immediately just gonna jump to deplatform you now. And that's the way that it's kind of been for a while. You know, it's been heading this direction for a while, but I think examples like this really show, man, like if people don't like you for your opinions, you can just disappear off the internet. It's crazy. And I'm not sure that that's necessarily something that people should celebrate. Like, yeah, you can feel like Sneako was justified in getting kicked off of YouTube and whatnot. Once again, not here to tell you that you can't think that, but this is going to continue. And it doesn't matter if there's another Sneako out there or not. You know, they're gonna find somebody, man. That's how the internet works. That's how it's always worked. There's always a new, you know, hate mob of the day against something. And the unfortunate truth is, man, if you're the target of that campaign, like, you're just kind of fucked, dude. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this all really plays out over the next couple months, even. If Sneako can really continue to keep his career going after all this has happened, if the mob of the online court of public opinion will continue to find someone new. I guess it just is what it is, man. So with that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, Sneako got banned, I guess, is the way I'm gonna end this one, and signing out.